Hey everyone, it's NBZ here, and it is a lovely day outside. It kind of makes me want to just go out into the world and explore. And that is exactly what today's video is going to be about. So, The Witcher 3 comes out today, and it is this huge, gigantic, massive fantasy open world RPG. And a lot of people are getting really excited about it, myself included, and hopefully I'll be playing it very soon. But it really got me thinking about what are the favourite kind of open world settings that I have played in video games thus far, and I was kind of curious about what you guys thought too. So I'm going to tell you 3 of my favourite open worlds in video games, and then we'll take a look at some of your responses from Twitter, and of course you guys share some with me in the comments down below. So let's go ahead with it. So the first game I want to talk about is Red Dead Redemption. I played this game as a result of it being free on PlayStation Plus a couple of years ago, and I didn't really know what to expect going in. I'd played some Grand Theft Auto stuff before when I was younger at friends' houses on PS2s, and I did own GTA 4 on PS3, though I didn't really do too much in it. I feel it's because kind of your modern city setting for an open world game isn't something that really gets me excited. I like more kind of rural and, grassy, lush settings that aren't kind of based in that urban environment. And what Red Dead Redemption did was it took this kind of desert landscape, made it this amazing playground full of things to do and kind of horse riding and that rustic feel and that kind of old school mentality of a western, and just made it such a fun ride to just explore around and take part in brawls and play poker and play card games and go into bars and fight people and just a load of crazy awesome stuff. And the story was great as well, and I think that's something that I also need in an open world game. It's not just the fact that it is huge and you can go around and do pretty much anything, but it needs to have a compelling narrative, and Red Dead Redemption has one of the most compelling narratives that I've ever seen in any open world game. Not to mention the fact that there were all these random scenarios that would pop up across the world as you just rode by on your horse. Like a woman would be held up at gunpoint and it would be your decision to jump in there and maybe help her out and get rewarded for it. Alternatively, you could just leave her and pass her by, and that was kind of active player choice in an open world, which was really, really cool. My next choice would be The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, specifically the HD version, because that's the one that I played last year, and it was actually the first time I'd ever played through it myself. Now, I'd had a lot of experience with it in the past, playing at friends' places, and I just knew loads about Wind Waker before, but that sense of unbridled exploration in that sea is truly magnificent. It may not actually be an open world, but Wind Waker does a great job of disguising everything and making you feel like this infinite ocean really is that huge and that there is so much to do in it. I went around every single square in the Wind Waker and mapped it out. I went to Beedle. I bought all the damn freaking food for the fish. These are the fish in the sea. He ate my food. He gave me my map, and I filled it all out, and it was a jolly good time, I tell you. And it's a Zelda game. It has fantastic design in almost every area, but Wind Waker is the one that I think really nailed it when it came to the open world. It's just a place that I'd love to live in. It really is just a splendid world. My last pick today for an open world game that I absolutely adore is probably obvious to many of you who know me. That is Xenoblade Chronicles. What a spectacular, vast, surprising, rich, fresh open world, which tells you, you see that thing over there? You can go to it, that's not just window dressing, that's not just like an invisible wall. That thing, that place, you're gonna go there one day. Let me tell you, it's gonna be amazing when you get there. The thing with Xenoblade is that it has so many amazing elements. The story's fantastic, I love the characters, I love just the plot and the way that it builds and everything surrounding that history of the world, and the fact that you get to explore that world and experience that history as you go through it is just a marvel to behold. I'm so glad that it was re-released on 3DS because it allowed so many more people to enjoy it. I personally loved playing it on the big screen because it does give you that just sense of hugeness that I'm not sure is replicated super well on the handheld, but it's still impressive that that thing actually fits on a portable device. It should tell you how much I love Xenoblade's world by the fact that I spent about 2.5 hours just swimming around Erith Sea for the express purpose of filling out my map. Yeah, I did that. But I did put out the call on Twitter for some of your favourite open worlds, so let's take a look at some of those right now. James Charlton from Nintendo World Report and the fantastic Japanese podcast The Famicast says, Vice City. 80s music makes you feel like you're in Miami Vice. That's certainly a big thing with the GTA games, is the music aspect of it really puts you in that world. You're driving around in your car with the radio turned on. I can absolutely understand your feelings there. I'm not a huge GTA guy, but Vice City, cool game. Really lends to that atmosphere. Hannah writes, Fallout 3. Atmosphere is amazing, it's vast, there's so much to do, solid game mechanics, and the dialogue is great as well. I have never played a Fallout game, but I know there are so many people who are really excited at the fact that Bethesda has a press conference at E3 this year, and it's really likely that Fallout 4 is going to be announced. So I may try it at some point, who knows, but everyone says it's this post-apocalyptic, amazing, fascinating world. Who knows, maybe one day I'll try it out and see what everyone's talking about. Sullivan says, I don't know if it counts, but Shadow of the Colossus. I love riding around that world. I would say Shadow of the Colossus does count. Now, while that world is kind of empty and there really isn't much in it aside from the bosses, it is that idea of desolation and loneliness, and it's you and your horse just rolling across the plains in this kind of vast silence. And I think that is a fascinating world. I think it's a really cool place. And of course, we have been waiting for so long for the follow-up to Shadow of the Colossus, The Last Guardian. Will we see anything about it at E3? Will it ever be released? Will Sony ever say that it's been cancelled or something along those lines? Who knows? But it's still a fascinating thing to follow, and Shadow of the Colossus is definitely a really cool one for open worlds. Now, a lot of you also agree with me on Xenoblade. Farrick says, I guess Xenoblade is the obvious one. Such a beautiful and imaginative world which rewards you simply by exploring it. Absolutely, that's one of my favourite things about Xenoblade, is that not only do you get to experience like these awesome vistas, but you also get experience for going there. Every location that you find gives you experience, so you don't have to go and just grind endlessly on monsters. If you wander about, you'll level up by your own accord. Such a cool mechanic. Casey also agrees and says, Xenoblade, I love the sense of discovery and just being like, there's something far off in the distance. Let's go. That nails it. That is exactly the way that I feel about that game. And finally, my main man Bally chimed in on Xenoblade, but he also addressed Assassin's Creed 4 and said, AC4 brings to life a rich pirate world full of charm, from songs to sailing, rum and violence. Will never be a better pirate game. Well, potentially I'm not going to agree with Bally that there will never be a better pirate game, because we of course cannot see into the future. I know that Assassin's Creed 4 is beloved by many and is really cool in the ways that it breaks away from the kind of monotony that the Assassin's Creed series had up to that point. And it's one that I'm interested in. Though I'm not the biggest fan of Assassin's Creed, I can appreciate that world, and it's pretty cool as an open setting. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my thoughts on open world games. I'm looking forward to playing The Witcher 3. I actually played through the entirety of The Witcher 2 in about 3 days in preparation for this game, so I feel like I'm ready. I know a lot of the characters. I'm going to jump back into that world, and I'm super excited for it. Let me know if you're also going to be playing it, and let me know in the comments what are your favorite open worlds and ones that you love to just muck about in, explore for hours on end. I'd be really interested to hear. So until then, thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.